AJ Lee fan. I'm back today with a new video. I have not been doing any videos lately, and I decided I want to get back on here and make a video. I want to come back with a series that I made that I never finished, and that series is Where It Went Wrong. It is a WWE series that I was making, and the only episode I did for it was, hold on, sorry, distracted, was the Bella Twins feud. If you have not watched it, please listen to it. I feel like I made some good points. And this video today, episode 2, will be about Nikki Bella's title reign. I honestly have always wanted to make a video about this because I honestly wanted to just discuss where WWE went wrong and if I can get into it, how it could have been fixed. Okay, so here it is, Nikki Bella. For those who don't know, I am not the biggest Bella Twin fan. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of them. Honestly, I have nothing really against them. I think they're doing great what they're doing outside of the WWE. But for the purpose of this video, I'm not talking about outside of things they have of success out of WWE. This is within the industry. This is within the wrestling business. And I really feel like a lot of fans get that confused with within the wrestling and outside of the WWE. What they do outside of WWE has nothing to do with what goes on in the ring. I feel like that is what really fans get confused. So Nikki Bella, they were building her up right around the time Brie came back for her feud with Stephanie. She turns heel on Brie. Her and Brie have a feud. It was not good. I don't care what anyone says. It was easily a cringy, bad writing, terrible feud. Nikki goes into a feud with AJ Lee. It was really good. Their match at TLC was good. And honestly, this is where WWE goes sort of wrong at this moment. Is having Brie turn heel was a mistake. I really feel like the whole purpose of her being a disciple was the fact that she was being mistreated by Nikki. I didn't like the fact that she just turned heel so fast without any real explanation as into why she decided all of a sudden to join her sister's side after Nikki put her through hell in early 2014. That didn't really make a lot of sense. I feel like that's where they kind of went wrong, but I really feel like the biggest thing where they went wrong was the fact that Nikki did not join the Authority. I feel like the reason why I really honestly I feel like the reason why she won the title was because I thought she was going to join the Authority. I thought that's why the whole thing with Nikki and Stephanie, I thought that's what the whole purpose was. That the reason why she was building this bond with Stephanie was the fact that they were going to recruit her in the Authority. I really feel like it would have been interesting to see a female other counterpart in the Authority like Stephanie and in the group. I really feel like they could have used that. They could have really had that. And Nikki being the champion could have really put that Authority over as really dominant. They're helping people keep their championships. But I feel like that's where they went wrong. And this is another reason why I really feel like they went wrong with her championship is not having her join the Authority. I really feel like it was so much potential there to have her join the Authority, and then they gave up on it as soon as she won the title. I really feel like, honestly, if you ask me, I feel like she should have had joined the Authority after she turned heel. I feel like that's when she should have joined. But they didn't put a plug on that. So I was thinking they would put a plug on it after she won the championship. But they didn't, and it just got worse. So let's go on to the next reason. The next reason, is she kept turning heel and she kept turning babyface every single time. And I realized this a lot, and I have gone back and watched stuff with her in 2015 as a Diva Champion, and I mean to tell you, there is a lot of times where she has turned heel, where she has turned babyface, and it's very inconsistent. It really messes up her character, because the whole point was that and you know what, when I say character, I don't mean to hurt anybody, but I don't really think the Bella Twins, sorry, this isn't about not the Bellas, I don't really think Nikki Bella had much of a character. Like, I don't really think she had really much of a gimmick that, like Roman Reigns, for example. Roman Reigns, he's the tribal chief, that's his gimmick. What is Nikki Bella's gimmick? Like, I guess we're going to say it's fearless, but I have no idea what that means. I know what fearless means, but what does the gimmick mean? that's what I mean. Like, that doesn't really make a lot of that's not really a gimmick. I don't think she had much really of a character. The one thing I will say that her title reign did have was good good matches is an understatement. She had majority good matches. Some of her matches were watchable. Some of them were meh at best. So yeah, the whole turning heel into babyface really messed up her title reign. I also really feel like the fact that she didn't really have much storylines going into her matches really hurt her title reign. Like, this is where I feel like this is why I honestly feel like she did not deserve, and I hate to say this, somebody does not deserve something, but it didn't make any sense to me why she beat AJ Lee's title reign, because if you look at her title reign, WWE put no effort in it for her to just become the longest reigning Divas champion. There was little to no effort making her this dominant Divas champion. Like, if we're talking about consistent character, consistent storylines, consistent good matches, there was not really much of that in her title reign, whether you want to believe it or not. There really wasn't. And she didn't really have a lot of feuds. Like, I really feel like they really messed up on a lot of things they could have done. Honestly, I really feel like Brie should have stayed a babyface the entire time during her title reign, if you ask me. Brie should have stayed babyface. Nikki should have been heel. Alicia Fox never should have joined. There should have never been teams. There should have never been no Team Bella, no Team PC, whatever, no Team Bad. There should not have been any of that. I think Brie should have stayed babyface, and she should have had turned on Nikki, making Nikki babyface. That way her and Brie can fight for the title. I think that would have been a lot more interesting. I feel like that would have been really interesting to see another feud between them, but probably written in a good wrestling style way instead of that terrible soap opera scripted garbage. I would have loved to see that instead. Or I would have loved to see them at WrestleMania, a Fatal 4-Way with them and AJ Lee and Paige. That would have been very interesting. AJ Lee could have done like Trish Stratus did, win the title one last time and then retired. That would have been a good way to send off AJ Lee, especially since it was her last year in the company. That would have been a good way to send her off. Another thing too that I realized in Nikki Bella's title reign is her segments. She easily has the worst segments as Divas champion. Now, before anyone guys come up here and say, "Oh my gosh, how can you say she has the worst segments?" What about all the other Divas champions? Well, they had no segments to begin with, so there you go. I don't think Maurice had any real segments. Like, we're talking about like promo wise. No, Maurice never had that. Michelle McCool did. I don't think Beth Phoenix had much of that. I don't think Natalya had that. Like, you get my point. Nikki Bella easily had the worst segments. Like, we're talking about out of her and AJ Lee, she had the worst segments as Divas champion. All of her segments were cringy, and they were just terribly robotic scripted promos. And another thing too that I've also did not like about what they did with her character is that they tried really hard to make her a mean girl. Like, she sounds like a bootleg Regina George on the mic, and it sounds very cringy, and it's just very bad. Like, I was just watching a promo today with them and Paige, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte, and she was like, "Charlotte, it's so amazing." Like, it's just, she sounds cringy. She sounds fucking stupid every time she talks like that. And I don't understand why WWE had to make her sound like a fake mean girl. Like, I really feel like if WWE would have had just gave them like realistic gimmicks besides her just saying fearless all the time, I really feel like it would have been way more easy to get behind her. That's why I really feel like her promos were never really strong, or her segments were never really strong, because there wasn't really much character development in her. Like, there wasn't much with her to get behind. Maybe to other people, but to me, not much. Like, I know other fans love them and everything like that, and that's fine. But, the reason why I never able to get behind it was because every time they would have a segment or every time they would have a promo, it was just so bad and it was just so cringy that it was just so hard to get behind it, because their characters are not consistent, and that's why their promos and segments seem to fall flat, because things are just not adding up. Things just seem very out of place. They sound robotic. And that's honestly, I really feel like that's honestly, all my grievances with her title reign, I really feel like it just suffered from a lack of bad booking, a lack of bad decisions, and a lack of real star power. I don't feel like she really helped elevate anybody. I know a lot of people are going to say that, I know people are going to say, well, Asia Lee buried everyone. I mean, you could have that analogy, but I honestly disagree with that. I feel like Asia Lee did help a lot of the women back there. And I'm not saying that Nikki Bella didn't help a lot of women, but I really feel like that what I mean by star power is that, here's what I mean by star power. You're able to make the other person in the ring look good. I really feel like Nikki Bella had a hard time making other people in the ring look as equal as her in the ring. I really feel like they had to rely a lot on themselves, like people who were green, like Charlotte. Now, I'm not saying Charlotte is green. Like, I know Charlotte, she was NXT, she was in Developmental. But compared to Nikki Bella's been on the main roster for years compared to Charlotte. So Charlotte is technically green. I don't think really Nikki Bella in their matches, she really had, she didn't really lead Charlotte on how to do certain things. I think Charlotte already knew, which is great. But I feel like if you're supposed to be someone who has done this, you should be able to lead the other person on how to do certain things. I don't really think Nikki Bella had that mentality with her matches. And I don't really think she kind of helped elevate the other girls to make them look as strong as she did. Like Naomi and oh, that's another person too. I'm going to talk about her heel run because that was just sad. Downright bad. Like her feud with Naomi, I think Naomi looked very weak in the feud considering that she was the heel. I think she looked weak the entire time, and I don't think Nikki Bella did everything she could to make Naomi look like an incredible heel. Like, I think Naomi just looked very weak. That's what I mean. Like, and I'll go back to this. Roman Reigns, he is the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Every time he's in a ring with somebody, he's able to help them. Someone who's more green than him. Biggie Langston, for example. Biggie Langston has been on the main roster before, yes, but compare Biggie Langston's main roster run to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns knows a lot more about things like being in the main event, holding championships, being able to have a good psychology match. He's able to help these guys. That's what I mean by having superstar. By having I forgot. For having, not mainstream, oh my god, I'm botching right now, I can't remember what I want to say, totally forgot what I want to say. He has superstardom, he can help these other guys, he knows what he's doing. Basically what I'm trying to say is that he knows what he's doing, he knows how to help these guys have a good match, and whether it's a bad match to other people, it's still going to be a good match because Roman Reigns is going to do everything he can to show his star power to make these guys look great. I don't really think Nikki Bella had enough star power in her own right to help the other girls succeed. Like Asia Lee did. Like I don't really think she had enough of that. Like Asia Lee did. So much was invested in Asia Lee in a way that she has so much star power that she was able to help anyone, whether it was a segment, whether it was a promo, whether it was a match. Asia Lee was able to help these other girls help them grow into their own person and to help guide them to have a great storytelling match, to have a great athletic match. So there we go. Those are just my grievances, Nikki Bella's title reign. Now, how would I have fixed her title reign? Well, here are some few things I would have fixed. Number one, I've never ever would have had Bree turn heel along with her. That was a mistake. Honestly, I really feel like they should have dropped the whole disciple thing and they should have put the Bella twins separate from each other. Now, I know people are going to say that's stupid, but I really feel like Brie does not work as a heel. She just does not work. I really feel like Nikki Bella I'm indifferent about her. I feel like she can work as a heel if they would not make her sound like a botchy mean girl. But I really feel like that WWE relies a lot on her sex appeal. That's what makes her such an incredible heel. If you think people like Trish, Lena, they were good heels because they were able to rely on their sex appeal a lot to make people feel distracted. And I really feel WWE did that a lot with Nikki Bella, but her promos and her segments were just so cringy and so bad that it was just kind of hard to just forgive them all the time because of her sex appeal. So there you go. That's one thing I would have done. I would have had them drop the whole disciple thing and have Brie go her own way and have Nikki do her thing. That's honestly what I would have done. And then I would have had Nikki join the Authority, like right off the bat. I would have had Nikki join the Authority right after she turned heel. Right after SummerSlam, she would have been with the Authority. No question, she's with the Authority now. She's officially a bad guy. She's running with Triple H, Stephanie, Randy, Seth, JJ, Security, King. She's officially Big Show. She's running with them now. Honestly, I believe like the Authority would have helped her win her titles. That way, she didn't retain her championships. That way, she did not need Brie. She did not need Alicia. I would have put more effort into her storylines and in her feuds and her rivalries, because honestly I feel like there was really no effort. I would have had never done the twinner thing with turning her into a babyface or to a heel. That also messed up her title reign. And another thing too I would have done is I would have had Brie turn heel on Nikki at the right time, and Nikki's gonna turn babyface, and that way her and Brie are gonna have a feud again, written in a wrestling style, not a soap opera botch way, and make it a good match. That's the things I would have fixed. And another thing too, I would have not made her beat the record. Honestly, I don't think that she had, like I just said, I don't think she had a consistent title reign built to beat AJ record. That's just my opinion. I don't think she had really a consistent, and even now, no one's talking about her title reign. Like, no one acknowledges that she's the longest reigning Divas champion, and that's even more sad. Like, no one acknowledges that. Honestly, I still think AJ Lee is the longest reigning Divas champion because I feel like AJ Lee had way more of a consistent title reign. She had way more consistent character development, and so much was just invested in her. And I really feel like it was not much with Nikki. Even though I think that she was the right person to become the next Divas champion because they were putting the spotlight on her, I just don't think WWE was thinking it through when it happened. So that is my series, my episode 2, part 2 of What Went Wrong with Nikki Bella's title reign. I'm gonna make a next one on Naomi's heel turn, but first, before I do that, I'm gonna go back and watch some of her segments and some of her promos considering her heel turn, and then I'm gonna give my final opinions and thoughts. So thank you.